Chicago. Julian would have been 11 years old today, but in 2008 he was murdered, along with Jennifer Hudson's mother and brother.
I feel like as though we have like a new beginning, and it's beautiful. You know, we're still blessed, and I mean, we've had our loss, but we're finding our way.
There's been a lot of talk lately about the evil side of the music industry, and multiple artists have publicly claimed that they were asked to literally sacrifice their loved ones for fame.
My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah.
You make real sacrifices. And yeah, bro, like that's the number one thing. Make sacrifices.
But is Jennifer Hudson part of this club? Well, a lot of people have been speculating about this because Jennifer's mom, brother, and nephew were brutally murdered just months before Jennifer won her first Grammy Award and her career blew up.
The Grammy for Best R&B Album goes to Jennifer Hudson.
And while some people believe that this is just a coincidence, others are convinced that there's no such thing as a coincidence when dealing with Hollywood. But did Jennifer ever address these speculations? Did she really sacrifice her family for fame and fortune? Let's get into it.
The frantic two-day search for actress Jennifer Hudson's missing nephew ended this morning with the worst possible outcome: the discovery of an SUV missing from the crime scene with a boy's body inside.
We can confirm that the body located inside the vehicle was the body of 7-year-old Julian King.
Hollywood is facing a major crisis right now. Between writers and actors strikes paralyzing the industry to celebrities getting exposed left and right for being horrible people and doing the most horrific things, it looks like the whole facade is crumbling away. Meanwhile, more celebs are starting to speak out on the dark side of the industry and warning people that fame comes at a huge price, and it often involves personal sacrifices that go beyond anything in your wildest nightmares. The idea that you have to sell your soul to make it in Hollywood is nothing new. However, it was only recently that celebs started speaking out on how selling your soul doesn't mean just giving up your privacy and compromising your moral values and doing evil stuff, but that you are asked to literally sacrifice the life of someone you love in order to make it big in Hollywood. And while stories about blood sacrifices are as old as Hollywood itself, we have to give credit to Kanye West for getting people to take these stories seriously. Last year, shortly before he was blacklisted by Hollywood, Kanye publicly claimed that his mom, Donda, was sacrificed.
My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah.
Kanye also name-dropped several celebrities whose loved ones died under suspicious circumstances, and he explained that this was done in order to traumatize and monetize.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You know, out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize.
Now, a lot of people are quick to dismiss these stories as some unhinged conspiracy theory. However, you have to remember that the only thing that Hollywood worships is money, and in order for the men in suits to make money off artists, they have to keep them under control. And as Kanye explained, when people are traumatized, they're easy to control and exploit. So it all comes down to greed, and we all know greed can make people do horrible things without any concern for who they hurt in the process. And we also can't ignore the fact that there have been so many major artists who have lost loved ones shortly before they made it big. Take A$AP Rocky, for example, who actually admitted that every time he was getting ready to release a new album, someone close to him died. A$AP's dad, Adrian, died in 2012, just months after A$AP signed a record deal with Sony Music and released his debut studio album, Long Live A$AP. And then in January 2015, Rocky's best friend, A$AP Yams, died just 4 months before A$AP dropped his second album, At Long Last A$AP. But that wasn't the end of it, because sometime in 2018, A$AP lost his half-sister shortly before the release of his third studio album, Testing. A$AP himself told Genius that he thinks it's strange how every time he's getting ready to release a new project, he lost a loved one.
I don't know, man. Every time I put out an album, or every time I'm about to release an album, for some strange reason, man, you know what I'm saying? I always lose somebody close to me. It was my pops, it was Yams, it was my sister. Like, I always lose somebody close to me, so, you know, shit feel like, you know, some crazy shit, like jinx or some shit.
However, there are also some celebs who claim that this is all just a conspiracy theory. Take Boosie, for example, who recently said that Michael Jordan would sue Kanye for saying his dad was sacrificed.
Jordan should sue the fuck out of him.
The whole Jordan people, just like Jordan said, sue the out of him, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, like, bro, you don't do that to, like, this goes to what I said before. He's using his big ass platform to bring pain to everybody else.
But it looks like fans are starting to take Kanye's side, and they're saying that there are just too many examples at this point of celebs losing their loved ones to just dismiss this as a conspiracy theory. And one of the most frequently cited examples is Jennifer Hudson, who lost 3 members of her family in 2008. There's been a lot of speculation among fans that this was a turning point in Jennifer's career, because just months after this tragedy, she won her first Grammy and her career took off. On October 24, 2008, Jennifer's mother, Darnell Donnerson, and her brother Jason Hudson were discovered shot to inside of Darnell's home in Chicago. Shortly after, Jennifer's 7-year-old nephew, Julian King, the son of her older sister Julia, was reported missing. 3 days later, Julian's body was found inside of a parked cart on Chicago's west side, and an autopsy confirmed that Julian's death was the result of multiple gunshot wounds. On the day that Jennifer's mother and brother were discovered, Julia Hudson's estranged husband, William Balfour, was taken into custody. He was subsequently charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony home invasion. Balfour was denied bail, and the prosecutor alleged that Balfour committed the crime as revenge on his estranged wife Julia, who had started dating another man. And though Balfour pleaded not guilty to all of the charges, in May 2012, he was convicted and sentenced to 3 life sentences plus 120 years. Now, the main reason why so many people are saying that this is a sacrifice is because Jennifer's breakthrough coincided with this tragedy. In January 2008, 8 months before her family members were murdered, Jennifer started recording her first studio album, and in June, her debut single, Spotlight, became her first top 40 hit. Jennifer's self-titled debut album was released on September 30th, 2008, just 1 month before she lost her mother, brother, and nephew. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and propelled Jennifer to international stardom. The album also received 3 Grammy nominations in 2009, and Jennifer won the Grammy for Best R&B Album. And then, in February 2009, 4 months after the incident, Jennifer made her first public appearance and sang the national anthem at the Super Bowl. Some fans have also speculated that the family tragedy was the price that Jennifer had to pay for winning an Oscar for Dreamgirls. I remember when Jennifer Hudson had 3 relatives that were murdered all at the same time by someone familiar to the family, and then she wins an Oscar supporting actress for the movie Dreamgirls. Keep in mind, she had never ever acted in a movie or TV show a day in her life before this. You have actors and actresses that have acted for 40 or 50 years and never won an Oscar. I hope and pray those deaths of her family members have nothing to do with her winning that award. And then there's also the fact that the medical examiner assigned to the case first claimed that Jennifer's nephew Julian had already passed away for 3 days when his body was discovered. However, when William Balfour's defense attorney pressured the examiner during the trial to determine the precise date Julian died, the examiner admitted that Julian might have been for less than 3 days. This was a critical piece of information for the defense because Balfour was taken into custody on the day Jennifer's mother and brother were targeted. So if Julian died after that, Balfour couldn't have been the one that did that to him. Balfour also continued to maintain his innocence in prison, and in 2016, he gave his first interview claiming that he had nothing to do with the case.
I mean, they done tested everything, and I was cleared of it. Evidence, the keys, was processed a month later. What police department take evidence off somebody and process it a month later? Keys that they saying that was in a file cabinet, locked up in the sergeant's office. Who is to believe that?
All of this has led fans to speculate that Jennifer Hudson is another celebrity who paid for her fame by sacrificing her own family, and whoever masterminded this used William Balfour as a scapegoat. All these years later, and I still don't believe he's the one fan said. Pay attention, this was a sacrifice. Well, allegedly. And another fan wrote, I remember this. Officers said it was an evil presence at the crime scene, blood everywhere, definitely a sacrifice. But how do you feel about this theory? Do you think this is just a conspiracy theory, or are celebs actually sacrificing their loved ones for fame? Comment down below and don't miss out on this next story.